Hello and welcome to the Elevenses Business Show. This is where we take time out to reflect on our businesses in the business world with technology, finance, and all things business success, So we're your hosts today. My name is Mauva from Malion Accountancy Services. Ladies, can you introduce yourself, please?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Yejiday of Logic to Create. Sorry about that, Mauva. Maureen, sorry. My name is Yejiday, Logic to Create, and we provide WordPress security tools and services.
Okay, so I love it. We're a team, so we're just like relaying, passing the baton. So my name is Maureen Negbe. I am the digital confidence coach. I help you with your IT systems so that you have more time to do what you love in your business to make your money.
Fantastic. So how you been doing, ladies, this week?
Good. Yeah. All right. Glad it's Friday.
Yeah.
Just been working on a lot of different things. Yeah, so I'm good.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good. I'm just excited, to have a little moment to breathe to myself and then fall back into my business, figuring out what's needed to be done. So it's been good. I've got my flowers, just well-being.
I need some of those.
So what are we talking about today?
So today we're talking about women in business, basically. So
that's us.
That's us, man. That's us. 100%. So our first question is, what are the difficulties faced by women in contrast to men? That's deep. I'm sorry, but it's deep.
To begin with, it's a big question. Okay.
How do you break it down?
I mean, there's lots of different areas, and I think I'm the digital confidence coach, and confidence is a big thing for me, and that's the area that I first started in. And I think for me, that was one of the key things that I noticed about women in business and about them going into business or not getting into business. It was due to either self-worth, lack of confidence. And I remember reading from a report, Columbian University report, where it showed that men, in terms of confidence to go out and do things or go into businesses, their own personal confidence is 30% above the reality of what they could do. Yeah, because they're overconfident. Whereas a woman would actually downplay herself, and it's some of those challenges, not every woman, but it's seen that women will downplay themselves or need to put everything into place before they move forwards, rather than just leaping in and just doing it like most men. They will just take the chance, take the opportunity. So for me, one of the biggest things is around confidence and self-worth.
Can I quickly jump in here, please? Because I know we talk about women in business, but it reminded me of a training course I went on to a long time ago, way back when, where it showed that if a man found a job to apply for, and say, out of the 10 points, 4 of those points he couldn't really do, he would still apply for it. But with a woman, those 4 points, they think, oh no, I can't do them, I won't apply.
Yeah, she would have to tick all the points before moving forward.
Be confident, because they're not confident enough to fulfill that position.
Yeah. I mean, I've done that. There's a lot of opportunities, even on Contracts Finder. I get an alert every morning, and I'm like, oh yeah, that looks good. But there's this and this and this that I can't do, or whatever. And funny enough, I had this kind of conversation with my daughter on the weekend when I was coming back from my studio, and I said to her, listen, right, money needs to be made, and in order to do that, I need to start kind of having the confidence of a man, kind of thing. Some things I'm basically not going to be able to do, but that shouldn't stop me from going for these kind of opportunities and just get a bit more how do you say it, ballsy. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of what we we see and we kind of shy away from in terms of in a job description or a contract opportunity or whatever, we can actually do it, but maybe it's written in a certain language that we're like, this or that, and you see what I mean. But when you think about your whole skill set in your life experience, your work experience, and all of that, you realize that you can actually do these things. And even if you can't, guess what? You can get help and you can pay other people to do it. Do you see
totally.
Yeah, I literally had that last weekend, and so that's the mindset that I'm definitely going into now.
It's funny because again, using stats, going back, I can't remember where I got the stats from, and I'll put links to stats where the information has come from. But it was saying that the percentage of women that actually do go into business is because of necessity rather than opportunity, where men usually will go into business because of opportunities and chance, motivation, and so on. Whereas, it's, there's the different reasons why women go in. It's usually because they need to and they have to, which is, there's more opportunities out there to be able to live the life that we want rather than having to do things a certain way. So, I encourage people to just live the dream. Do what you dream of.
It's also written, I found like in a Telegraph, it's only dated last year, that there's 5 points, which I'll just kind of briefly go over. I mean, they're all not relevant right now. But one of the points, they were saying that some women go into business after a career break, which compared to men, they leave a full-time job and go straight into business, which they're saying that is a downfall for women. Because maybe their skill sets are not, 100% because they've had a career break, and also we're saying that they start up with less capital than men. I don't know about that. Maybe we are like risk adverse. We don't want to, apply for too much funding that you have to repay, or investments.
I saw something about that when I was doing some research for an opportunity that I was applying for, and those points were about being risk averse. And last week we were talking about what's the definition of an entrepreneur, right? Take financial risk. So we're like, maybe not. This is and if you've got family and stuff like that, you're trying to keep a roof over your head. You're calculating all of these different things that you need to attend to first before you're just dropping cash into this business. Do you see what I mean? So sorry, Mauva, to cut in.
No, that's cool.
Yeah. No, I'm going to cut in as well because the whole thing. The thing about the finances as well, because I think we were talking about this at one point, that men are more likely to get approval from banks and get loans and so forth over women anyway.
Yes. But why? When women can prove that they've been, I can't remember where I saw it again, but some successful business lady, can't remember her name, I'm so sorry, that she applied for some funding, some investment, some loans or something, and they turned her down, although she's got successful businesses behind her.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. So, it's a challenge. It almost feels as though women in business have to keep proving themselves a lot more. And then, again, going back to the confidence thing, in terms of putting themselves forward enough, okay? Because, again, it's part of the research where people who need to make decisions, when they see someone approach them, depending on their demeanour and how they are, if they don't show ballsiness, as to like what you had said, Jedge, or show, if there seems like self-doubt straight away, that goes against them, so it's that whole thing of that. If you believe in what your business can do, you believe in your product, believe in your service, then go full throttle, don't allow anybody to tell you differently or stop you going forwards.
And as you're saying more is about the confidence thing, is that I think women are scared as well of failure too, according to the Telegraph anyway. And they were saying that, they will find it hard to bounce back from failure as well. maybe the male counterpart will just say, okay, yeah, fine, I failed on that, that project. I'm going to do another one.
You'll close the business down and start again.
Yeah.
Rename.
I've seen it on the Dragon's Den. A man could come back to the Dragon's Den with different ideas all the time. And all the time they turn him down.
But I think to a certain extent, though, I was going to make this point that I feel like women are actually more resilient in business. Like we will keep, I will keep going on, you know what I mean? And keep making it happen. And, you know, I've reinvented myself a couple of times. But I think we have more resilience in us. But I don't know how the fear and resilience relationship is, because maybe like once we've got over the fear, then we'll start building resilience. But it's the fear that stops us from getting into those initial stages anyway. And there is that thing of, you know, fear of failure, and, you know, sometimes even just doing something wrong on a blog post. And so I had this mentoring session, and we drilled down and really realized that when you get kind of you make mistakes when you're young, right? And if you have been told off a lot about it, and you know, you were just seen to be the bad kid or whatever. Do you see what I mean? Because you're making mistakes or whatever. Then when you grow up in later life and you haven't worked on those issues and how to deal with those scenarios, you're gonna be trying to avoid making mistakes, so that do you know what I mean? And even when you do make mistakes, you might be the hardest person on yourself, and then it's like, well, I'm not going to do that again. Do you see what I mean? So again, in the psyche of my thing is that, I need to move. You need to put.
So that's the office one. I'm so sorry. It wasn't stopping a second. I'm so sorry.
Hey, this is live. This is how things happen.
I just need to turn on my electricity supply to the laptop.
Well, you know what? I'm glad. Well, listen, I'm glad that you brought that up, because I know that although I think one of the ways that we move forward is to identify and be aware of things, blocks, and the challenges and what stops us from moving forward. But the thing is that we are moving forward. And I think that this is testament to the fact of that, how we work together and support each other to keep going forward as well. You know, because I think these are great times, new times, where we are seeing more and more women in business. And for me, that's a delight, rather than women seeming to be just doing the caring professions, you know, just, you know, the supportive role. We're actually now stepping in front and doing what we want.
Yeah, definitely. That's a good point. And I think it's great in terms of there's also that shift of mindset in terms of, you know, who's your main competitor and blah, blah, blah. But now we're looking at who can you collaborate with? Who can you join forces with to make something happen? And I guess that's where, again, it is that thing of when you see an opportunity as a entrepreneur, businesswoman, whatever, self-employed, to say, okay, this could actually get me to another level if I'm able to, you know, find somebody in my network who I could actually collaborate with, and we can actually build something. Do you see what I mean? So I think, you know, back in the day when I used to, 2011, 2012, I used to fill out all these Barclays or whatever, you'd go on all these business training thing, innit? And it was always in your business plan, who's your competitor? I'm like, I don't know who my competitor is. You know what I mean? Like,
Exactly.
Who's my age, black, living in Hackney, doing this, doing that, got a kid, you know, and trying to set up a virtual assistant business. I don't know who that person is. Like, who's, do you see what I mean? Like, or maybe I was seeing it a bit limited, but in terms of that, it's like, okay, I would try and do research, but the idea of a competitor is like, whatever. But the idea of a collaborator really works well for me. I've collaborated with so many different people on different projects, and every time it's helped move me and them up to a different level. Do you see what I mean?
So, do you think collaborating also means having a mentor as well, do you think? Or that just totally separate? Two separate things.
Yeah, I think it's separate things. Like I've had three or four mentors or whatever. And I think those, you know, all these top millionaires, billionaires, they tell you they've got like 7 mentors and all of that.
And that's Oprah.
Yeah.
It's Oprah. Oprah has 7 coaches and mentors, and that's that. Yeah, no, and that's the thing about it. You can't just. Everybody's got different expertise, and that's the beauty of collaboration because it's bringing different mindsets. I mean, we're all 3 of us are all in different fields, you know, but coming together, we're a force.
And that's where you can see, you know, it's like, you know, it's a Venn diagram where you see all your different bits, but you see the little area where you can all kind of all relate. That's where the power is in terms of, okay, all of us can bring something to the thing, and we all have different networks as well, which then makes it even more powerful, based on, you know, what we're doing and those kind of things. So I think definitely collaboration is great. Mentoring is great too, for women, and I've had male and female mentors. You know, they all bring something to the field, and they all help to develop one's person.
Okay, so we've touched on like the finance stuff, but what about, you know, other responsibilities? You know, like childcare, you know, and other, you know, other stuff, other personal stuff.
I feel
yeah, I think you'd be very good at answering this question right now.
Why do you say that, Mauva? Yeah, like as a parent, it's interesting. Even up to now, my daughter's 21. It's like, oh yeah, so what are you planning on this evening? A bit of work. Oh, you know, do you fancy watching a movie? I've got some work to do. Yeah, so there is that thing of the balance, work-life balance. We all have that anyway, regardless of being parents. But in that extreme, you've got to really work that out and handle it, because you just don't want to be seen to that as that person who is just trying to make money, and you know, you're losing the bonds with your family and your relations and stuff like that. So a lot of I did a lot of kind of like soul searching last year. No, the end of 2018, I was like, I need to start planning time back in with my family. Not just my daughter who lived with me, but she was at uni or whatever. So when she's away at uni, I try to work as hard as possible so that when she's back, I can time with her, and you know, try and see the nieces and nephews and all of that a bit more, because before you know it, they're all grown. Like, they're like, hey, what happened?
Please. Listen, I've got a 30-year-old nephew and a 32-year-old niece. For God's sake, hello.
You don't look old.
I'm still 25.
Just oh, you're older than me. But hey,
24 and I think we first met in 2012 or whatever. I'm like,
was I 12 then?
I don't know what kind of calculators you're using.
Oh, the wrong one. Pounds of stock.
Nigerian calculator.
That's another barrier for female denial. Like,
I'm making me cry.
Oh dear.
I think, you know what? It's like what you said, that we've all got different things that get in the way, whether it's family. Like some of my friends will say they don't see me.
Yeah.
Because it almost feels like I'm just constantly working and working and working. So although I'm not bringing up a child, it's almost my child is my business.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm spending too much time. And it's like what you're saying, it is about building up that balance so you enjoy life. And business is not supposed to be painful.
No. It's not supposed to be.
It's not supposed to be painful, you know. There's always going to be challenges and so forth, but it is about also still making sure you're not just living to work. You know, it's the same concept about a career. You're not living to go to work, so you're not living to just do your business. You know, your business is supposed to be able to give you that life that you want.
I mean, right now for me, it's quite mega, to be honest, because obviously I'm an accountant, and you know, people, you know, who are self-employed, you know, are applying for the grants, so I'm helping them with that. And obviously people on furlough as well. Yeah, and just like, you know, it's just, for some reason, it's just gone mega busy, and the self-employed people are like getting in tax returns early. Woohoo! And, you know, I'm just using my staff as best as I can, and I'm trying to manage the time, you know, the time and the workload as well. Sometimes it's hard, so I just let it go. Instead of stressing about it, I just said, you know what, just do it. What's the sense of stressing about it? Just give myself a headache, hypertension, you know.
I'm going to out you.
Oh, please don't. It's a good thing or bad thing?
Because the thing about it, what I do love is that you create cakes. So you make cakes. So you've got a pastime. You've got something where you have a little outlet.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. Mauva sends us pictures of her cakes and the foods and everything that she makes as well. So it's...
Yeah, what was that one? Peanut butter. Next thing.
Make your own peanut butter.
Scratch. I was like, damn. I was like, Uber that over to me, please.
When I made banana ice cream, I thought, oh my God, I'm a genius.
Yeah, you love this banana ice cream, isn't it? Like every opportunity to measure.
It's just banana and it's frozen. It's just fantastic. There's no sugars. There's no extra, you know, craps in there. Okay. No peas, you know, just banana.
So on another show, we're always going to do a race. A good healthy food guide for all of us.
Healthy mind, healthy body, healthy business. Yes.
That's it.
Oh, it's that multitasking, able to do all of these different things as well. And that's what's expected, bringing it back around to women in business to be able to do all of these different things, you know, from the home, family. So we're always in the center of holding things together. And it's how do we manage all of those bits and pieces and run a successful business.
Yeah.
And just to bring in some other stats. So there's the Alison Rose review of female entrepreneurship, and this review found that women could actually add an additional £250 billion to the economy if they started and scaled businesses at the same rate as men in the UK. Mm-hmm. So, you know, we're not just pretty faces and cooks and mothers and stuff like that. We could really help boost this economy as long as we have the right support and we support each other and things like that. And so I guess in terms of, you know, you guys view as female business owners and stuff, it'll be interesting to hear from you what kind of changes you would or support you think is still necessary to help us all move forward in that way. And, you know, I want to be one of those contributors to 250 billion.
Of course, gosh.
Jeff Bezos is pitted to be the first trillionaire in the world. Like,
fantastic, wouldn't it? Would we become a dame or something like that?
Sorry?
Would we become a dame or something like that if we were?
I don't know.
I was going to say have a good at knighthood, but that's for the men, isn't it? The dames for the women.
3 billion and a few trillion. The title doesn't really matter to me.
That's it. You just be Dame Rich.
Yeah. There's some world-changing things we could do with that kind of money. Do you get me?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
But also, just to bring it up, is that women in business is actually really soaring. Because again, from the stats, the government stats are showing that from the downturn from 2008, that women, self-employed women, you know, so remember we talked, as we were saying last week, the difference between self-employed and entrepreneurship, but women going into business has gone up 58%, while men have gone down.
Oh,
okay.
You know, and I'm just relating that to the time that, remember, we were talking about when we started our own businesses. Around the 2011, 2012 time, there was such a redundancy was really high, and there was a lot of women that were being made redundant at that time as well. So one of the routes was that women started to go into business themselves. But it seemed to be still continuing. So it is not just on a downturn. It still seems to be a way that women are now looking to see that actually this is viable, you know, to start up their own businesses.
Yeah, and I think in this current moment, it's going to get even higher. The stats are going to increase exponentially. Do you know what I mean? It's going to be crazy. And I think this is where the women who are starting off and stuff, they need to communicate a lot more, to say what they really need, and also for us to see how we can be helping each other, and review this a bit more, because again, if there's financial things we need, I know there are like what do they call it, funding circles and all this kind of stuff like that, but the more we can look at these kind of things, especially from a Black perspective or BAME perspective, then we need to have a look at that and see how the gaps that are there for Black women in general, and who are in specific kind of industries and stuff like that. Because obviously there's industries like construction or something like that, or whatever, because I don't know if there's any Black female scaffolding companies or male, do you see what I mean? But I saw the article about one in America, this Black guy, and is now running $1 billion company. Wow. And I saw this week, so I was like, "Brad, that's interesting." So it just sparks your interest, like, we don't have to be climbing up the scaffolding, but you can still run it.
Right. No, that's it. I mean, you just reminded me, because I remember when I was going to uni. Was it uni or college? I think actually it was college, Newham College at that time. And I remember the Eurotunnel, and a friend of mine actually got a job within. She was an engineer. And she was one of the top female engineers during the Eurotunnel time. But you'd never, ever hear about females in those kind of positions, because it's just like, as you said, you don't hear much unless you're Oprah, you've made it way, way, way beyond. You don't hear about a lot of women in business.
But I think, we need to shout about it a bit more. And a film for you guys to watch. I don't know if you've watched it already. She Did That on Netflix. That was focused on Black females in America, entrepreneurs. It was really good. It was really quite touching for me. I was like, oh, I want to be like them. And but I mean, we kind of are in our own ways. But I think there's so much potential, and there's we just need to realize what is hindering that potential, or what needs to accelerate that potential.
I think it's... Sorry, I'm jumping in, because this was such a fascinating topic, because of that, when I first started looking into it, it was like, women in business. But this is a big subject. And one of my first things that I wanted to do as part of my research for my business was to see who were the top female successful business women or millionaires in the UK. And that was one of the most difficult things to research and find. And there was hardly any, and especially Black women, there was hardly any. American women, you can see the lists. Yeah. Even African women. You can
even in like Nigeria or Africa or whatever. Do you see what I mean?
Why?
This is what we need to find out, or we need to discuss a bit more, and maybe some of the females who are watching, like we said, let us know, like, what do you think is holding us back, and why, and what do we need to do to bring things together? Because, like we said, working in collaboration can help move two of us and three of us and loads of us up to different levels, and that's what we want to be doing. So if it is that we need to start collaborating much more, create bigger networks, specific networks around finance, I know, and financial literacy, and putting together institutions, because there's Black banks and all that kind of stuff in other parts of the world. So, where's our banks and funding organizations? We need to think about that if we want to progress in certain ways. So
fantastic.
I think as well, it's about us lifting each other up. So we need to be talking about each other more as well. There's the collaboration where we come together, but then we need to be more vocal about who's out there, what the services are. So, that we can actually be able to connect with each other and know what's going on. So, yes.
Okay. So, Mo, how are you doing for time? Sorry, you're the timekeeper. I didn't say that in the beginning, but you are.
Thank you. All right. We're doing okay. We're around that half-hour point.
Fantastic. So let's do a quick roundup then. Actually, yes. So please, viewers, drop us a line. Tell us, give us your feedback. Tell us about your experiences, your challenges, even your highlights. Please give us some good news, Give us some good stats. Give us some, just some good stories.
Yeah.
Come back on that, man, please.
Yeah, definitely. And from the first episode that we've had, that we did, we've got some good feedback. So yeah, talk to us, guys.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you want to talk about? Anything, any highlights or any topics, that's important to you, or anything that you need to know that's going to help you accelerate in your business?
Fantastic. Okay, well then, ladies, thank you so much for the chat today. Been fantastic, as per usual. So,
before we go,
yes.
What about one thing that you think we can share, or from our discussion today, to put out that you want people to remember from this talk?
We are strong.
Yeah. Analyze and work on the blocks and barriers, internal and external, because we are our businesses, and once we kind of understand the blocks within, we can move. The blocks within sometimes translate into our businesses. We need to work on those and try and get them out.
Totally. Yes, and I will add to what you just said there in terms of you're not alone. So with those blocks or whatever you're going from, remember, one, you're strong, but you reach out to people. You've got 3 women here that are ready and open to help you. So reach out. You're not alone. Collaboration is one of the best and fastest way to move forward.
Definitely.
Okay.
Yay!
That was good.
Thank you and good morning. And
have a good
week.
Day.
Yes.
That's it. Yes.
So next time for our 11s.
11s.
Thank you for listening. See you.
Bye.
Don't forget to find us on our links on our social media. You can see it in the chat. Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Bye.